Shalom Israel, welcome again, okay, to Watchmen of the Faith Ministries. Okay, where we left off at before, I wanted to go to the book of Romans, the 7th chapter, and I wanted to read verses 1 through 4. But what I want to do is back up a little bit, okay, because again, I want this thing to fit nice and perfect, and I want everybody to clearly understand what I'm talking about. And again, the title of the show is called Covenant of the Threshold, the Blood of YAHUSHUA. Now, I made mention that in the book of Devarim, the 22nd chapter, the 28th and the 29th verse, it talked about if a man findeth a damsel in the field, okay? I'm going to show in the scripture how the Messiah found the nation of Israel, which was that damsel in the field, and that field was in Egypt. You go to the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel the 16th chapter, and I want to read, let's read verses 5 through 6, and we should get the picture from there. And then from there, I'll go back into Romans, the 7th chapter, 1 through 4. But again, we have to read all of the scripture, okay? I can't read the whole thing. Now, Ezekiel, the 16th chapter, is a very good book, okay? It explains the adultery of the nation of Israel, but I'm going to be reading now verses 5 through 6. Now, this is talking about the nation of Israel again. It says, "None I pity thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee. But thou wast cast out into the open field to the loathing of thy persons, in the day that thou wast born. And when I passed by thee," so the question is this, when did the Messiah see the nation of Israel like this? The Messiah saw the nation of Israel in these conditions, or in this condition, in Egypt. It was in Egypt where the Messiah gave, okay, Moses, the commandment to call out the nation of Israel out of Egypt so that he can make a covenant with those people. And those people were the Israelites. "None I pity thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee. But thou wast cast out into the open field to the loathing of thy person, in the day thou wast born. And when I passed by thee, and I saw thee polluted in thy own blood," not in the blood of Yahushua, but we were polluted in our own blood, "I, which is Yahushua, said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yes, or yea, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live." Follow Torah. So we see now that this was the calling out that Moses did, and we see now again what's going to happen in the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter, the 7th verse, when we see now the blood being put on the doorpost, and that blood is representing Yahushua. And again, I can't say this enough now, that when Yahushua now crosses the threshold, he's now coming into covenant relationship with the people in the house. This is how we know that we are now a married people. Okay, that's very important. Now, let's go to the book of Romans, the 7th chapter, and let's elaborate a little bit more. Let's elaborate a little bit more on what's going on with the nation of Israel, which is the bride, and Yahushua, which is the groom. This is Shaul talking here now. "Know ye not, brethren," so we're talking about Israel here, "for I speak to them that know Torah," or that know the law, "how that the law haveth dominion over a man as long as he liveth." Now, when you go back into the book of Devarim, we'll put everything together. You go to 28 again, 28, 22, 28, 29, it says, "When the man that lie with her shall give the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver." And again, like I said, the Messiah didn't give the father 50 shekels of silver. He gave his life. Okay, and the blood is very, very important, okay, because that's how the deal was sealed, through the blood of Yahushua. "And she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days." Now, Shaul is saying the same thing in the book of Romans, the 7th chapter, verse 1 again. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth. Now, for the woman which hath an husband in the nation of Israel, okay, we have a husband. And who is that husband? The husband is YAHUSHUA. Okay? For the woman which hath an husband is bound by law to her husband. So we are bound by law to YAHUSHUA. So as long as he which is YAHUSHUA liveth, but if the husband which is YAHUSHUA be dead, she is loosed from the law of the husband. And we understand now, when you go to the book of Jeremiah, the third chapter, it tells us that the Messiah gave the nation of Israel. We're talking about northern kingdom a bill of divorce, and we see also now, eventually, the Messiah gave, okay, southern kingdom a bill of divorce when she was kicked out of Jerusalem in 70 AD when by Vespasian and Titus. But again now, what's important here now is that when the Messiah died, okay, for the sins of the adulterous woman, okay, the Messiah resurrected on the third day. The woman, which is the nation of Israel, is still bound by the law of marriage to her husband because the Messiah resurrected. Okay? The Messiah resurrected. We are still bound by the law. We are not supposed to be following all these other, what's a better word to say? All these denominations out here. Okay? We are a married people and we are still bound by the law. We are still a married people. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of the husband. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, that's adultery. Okay? That's straight up and down adultery. And that's what happened with the nation of Israel even to this day, because the Messiah lives. All right? The Father resurrected the Son. The Son sits at the right hand of the Father. Okay? We are still a married people. We have not been let loose from the law of marriage. We are still obligated to do the laws, statutes, and commandments. The only thing that has changed is that there are no more animal sacrifices. Okay? The Messiah paid the debt, the ultimate debt, with dying on the cross and shedding his blood. And again, the title of the show is called Covenant of the Threshold, the Blood of YAHUSHUA. So then, if while her husband, which is YAHUSHUA, liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. The nation of Israel collectively as a body, even to this day, is called an adulterous woman, a whore. All right? But if her husband be dead, she is free from the law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. Verse 4. Wherefore, my brethren, you also are become dead to the law by the body of YAHUSHUA, that you should be married to another, even to him who is raised from the dead, that you should bring forth fruits unto the Father. Now, brothers and sisters, we're not going to be able to get away or around this here, okay? We have to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. There's no way of getting around it. I'm going to read verse 4 again, okay, because there's no way of escaping this. Verse 4, wherefore, my brethren, you also are become dead to the law. What is Shaul talking about here? The sentence for adultery is death. That was the sentence that should have been placed on us. But this is the ultimate mercy, okay, that the Father showed to the nation of Israel by sending his son, YAHUSHUA, to die for the sins of the adulterous woman. He took that out of the way. We were supposed to have died. Again, verse 4. Wherefore, my brethren, you also are become dead to the law by the body of YAHUSHUA. YAHUSHUA was that atoning sacrifice for the nation of Israel. The scriptures even tell us that the Messiah said, my body was prepared for this. as my body was prepared for this, to die for the sins of Israel. That you should be married to another, even to him, which is YAHUSHUA, who is raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit unto the Father. All right? That is very, very important for us to understand. The blood of YAHUSHUA and the importance of the door. Whenever you see the word at the door is making a reference to YAHUSHUA. Okay? That's very important for us to understand. Now, let's go to the book of Shemot, the 21st chapter, which is the book of Exodus. The book of Exodus 21. 21, and I'm going to read verses 1 through 6. Now again, the only way you will be able to get a good understanding of what I'm saying now, we have to understand that every prophecy and every miracle is alluding to the Messiah and the nation of Israel. Every last single prophecy, okay, and miracle. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. We're talking about the nation of Israel, the Messiah and the nation of Israel. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. That is very, very important as we see ourselves now moving into the fall feast, okay, where we have the Day of Atonement, the Feast of Blowing of the Trumpets, we have the Day of Atonement, then we have the Feast of Tabernacle. Now, 6 years is very, very important, okay, because we know now that we're moving now into the 7,000th year. And what happens now in the 7,000th year, the Hebrew slave is supposed to be set free. This is our deliverance. This is what's been said here when we start to understand verse 2, what we call the sod level. The nation of Israel, this Hebrew slave, is going to be set free now in the 7th year. Verse 3, if he came in by himself, he should go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master, this master who we're talking about here now, is YAHUSHUA, all right? If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children should be her masters, okay? We belong to the master. Who is the master? The master is YAHUSHUA. And who is the head of YAHUSHUA? His name is Yahuwah. And he shall go out by himself. Verse 5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master. And that is the responsibility of every Hebrew Israelite. Okay? We are supposed to love the master. And how do we show that we love the master? We show that we love the master by following the laws, statutes, and commandments. The whole earth is supposed to love the master because there's only one power. This is the reason why I like to say when I'm having conversations with other people, okay, Yahuwah, okay, El or Yahuwah, Allah, El Shaddai, okay, he is almighty, or Shema Yashra'al Allah Yashra'al is Akkad, he's one. Simple as that. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. That's the mindset that we're supposed to have. We don't want to let loose from YAHUSHUA because he's the door. And if we come any other way, you're called a thief, a murderer, and a robber. You have to cross that threshold. And what's at the door? Okay, when you see the door, what's at the door? Before you go through the door, you have to cross the threshold. That's the reason why the title of the show is called Covenant of the Threshold, the Blood of YAHUSHUA. And YAHUSHUA came in this intimate relationship with the people that was in the house in the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter, the 7th verse. Okay, we know that he went over the house, but what I'm saying now, when we look at these scriptures a little bit more in detail, he's now coming into covenant relationship with the people in the house. All right, let me try to finish this up right quick. Actually, I'm not going to be able to finish this up. Okay, I'm going to have to go on to another lesson. All right, and with that, brothers and sisters, I'm going to come back with verse 6. All right, shalom.